Hello, today I have a really fun video and we're going to be taking a look at the top 3 most fun strategies along with Superjombombo, which is going to be really fun. You probably know him, he's a very long time BTD6er. Well, started like BTD5 and BTD Battles 1 videos, and after this video you can check out SJB's part to see what he does, and check out the second part, which is going to be coming tomorrow. So the first strategy that I'm going to show off is going to be the Perma Brew with the Super Monkey fan club. This is kind of funny and strange, and I guess I'll mention it later, but first, in the meantime, while I'm doing this early game, I'll mention the format a bit for this. So basically, we each picked out 3 fun strategies, pretty fun. They're not like generally effective. Some of them may be a little more effective than others, but they're definitely fun to do, and there definitely was no disappointment in all 6 of these Chimps games, which is really nice to see. So for the first part of 2, we're going to be looking at the 3 strategies, the 3 really fun strategies that I chose, and then tomorrow I'm going to upload another video of me doing the 3 fun strategies that SJB did, and he's going to reverse it too. So today when this is uploaded, he's going to have his 3 Chimp strategies of him doing it, and then tomorrow he'll be trying out the ones that I tried. So it's gonna be really fun. You can check out the videos and see how we do it. But anyways, for this first one, Perma Brew's Super Monkey Fan Club, it's kind of a really odd and interesting take. It's kind of like, I guess, in between the idea of perma brewing super monkeys, which obviously is super common and maybe not super popular, but fairly popular. I've seen it done more than a few times. And then the less so common strategy of using Plasma Monkey Fan Club. And then this takes it like a step in between. It gets real crazy, I guess, crazy, freaky, funky, and takes a bunch of super monkey fan clubs and you perma brew them, which is kind of odd. So on Muddy Puddles, I chose it to do here. I think it would work out pretty well because everything's going to be stationed like right in between lane 2, 3, 4. I can get a perma brew there, and then that will all be good. For the mid game, I'm going to use a Plasma Accelerator, which will work out great with Psy, and then I'm going to be going for a Chinook first. And the idea for this is that basically I have that Alk on the Plasma Accelerator for the mid game. I'm going to be getting that up to Stim later, and then perma brew, and I'm going to need to be moving the perma brew because it definitely can't stay in that one place. So I'm going to be getting the Chinook. I get it first though, because if I get perma brew first, then like I can't really do anything with the perma brew until I get Chinook, and it's going to be very nice and helpful to have the extra blowback from the Chinook early on. So I'm going to get that, and then we can get just save up for the perma brew. It's just going to be a lot of micro. This is kind of like the typical Muddy Puddles early game Chimps experience. Well, not early game, mid game, more like where we're just microing around this Plasma Accelerator. This definitely is the most boring part, but we'll get into the Super Monkey Fan Club later, and surprisingly it was actually like pretty good in terms of damage wise. Of course on this map it's kind of a pain to get through because of course it is an expert map, and using unconventional strategies on expert maps tend to lead to a lot of like issues and hiccups that you need to resolve through means of like just experience and stuff like that. But luckily I have a lot of that, so I was able to get through it just fine. Anyways, we're going to be getting the Perma Brew soon after a pretty cool solution on 81 and 82, but the Perma Brewed Super Monkey Fan Club itself is very interesting because like it's not just super monkeys. They first of all are way more compactful, which is pretty nice, but second of all, their stats base are better than just a regular super monkey, and you can get cross paths which will benefit the transformed super monkey, which is really nice too. So it's actually like fairly good. It's the same with Plasma Monkey Fan Club. It's not just like 20 plasma monkeys, it's instead just much better plasma monkeys, like their stats buffed, range pierce, all that kind of stuff. It's a lot better. And then when we perma brew them, there's going to be a lot of them, and they'll actually do pretty good damage, which is nice. On this map, it definitely was a bit trickier because there's a lot of moving things around, and round 97 honestly gave me much more of a hiccup than I would have thought it would. And also there definitely were some optimizations that I could have done. All of these runs were just first try attempts, so it's not like I was optimizing anything afterwards, and this was the one I think that was the least optimal on the first try, of course, as they were all first try. Round 97, I didn't really plan that out. Round 98 also kind of didn't go as I had hoped it would have, or like as I thought it would have in my head, because round 97 just dented me so hard. It definitely was my fault. In the moment, I could have realized that that was the way that I was proceeding to beat round 97 was a really shitty way. But anyways, I got that Perma Brew up, moved it with the Chinook, and then developed the first Super Monkey fan club. Just a few of these guys when Perma Brewed can really take it a lot. Like look, those DDTs got nowhere, and then size can be helping out a lot too. So we're gonna have that, and we can use it to kind of more so beat 94 a little bit easily. They're far away, and they're not really many of them were in range, so 94 got a little bit closer than expected, but with size abilities they were good. However, on 95 these things are just gonna get melted. Like look at the DDTs, they're not going anywhere. And then I ended up getting 3 Super Monkey fan clubs, so we'd have permanent uptime Perma Brewed Super Monkey fan clubs. Very cool. Anyways, here comes around 97, where I definitely didn't do this good way. In fact, I used Scream. That should just been like a pretty big red flag that I used Scream to beat around 97. What am I going to do against 98? The solution has to come to spending a lot of money, which kind of sucks, but I guess I had to do that. I would have been able to beat round 100 with a lot less, or a lot less money spent, a lot more spare if I was able to do a bunch of other things, and then also Chinook over a Super Monkey fan club, so I could have gotten a ton of Perma Brewed Super Monkeys on the bad lane. In reality, I barely had any, and I recorded a whole first strike, which kind of put all the cash spare that it could have gotten away. So not the most optimal, but we'll move on to strategy 2, which is going to be Snowstorm and primary expertise. So we're going to be taking this on Dark Dungeons, which is a pretty exhausting map, I'd say. Like, you go into Dark Dungeons being like, oh, we're gonna have such a fun late game on Dark Dungeons, and then you realize that you have to beat all of the early and mid game. The late game on Dark Dungeons is so much fun. I love playing it so much, but the mid game is a bit exhausting. So if you're using a hero that doesn't just excel in the mid game, then it's kind of annoying. Sada does pretty well, but I still had a lot of things to deal with in the mid game, and we're just going to be doing a Beast Handler mid game with a Spalls on the left side. Nothing too crazy. I've done this like a bunch of times before. And then just to get some Purist in there on the left side, I put a, what was it? Yeah, it was a Wall of Fire. That's what I did there. And then I just had the Adosaurus moving around, chomping stuff where it needed to be chomped. And then Sada was in the middle, which is pretty cool. That's a pretty interesting Sada place. You either put Sada there or on the right. I opted to go right there, because I think it would just work out a little bit better. Sada did really most of the work in the mid game. Once I got to the late game, it was totally free. So I had that all going. Round 40 was nice and easy when we brought the Beast Handlers out, and we're going to be doing some Condor action. So we got the Adosaurus in all the good spots. Take that down. Now Adosaurus is going to the side, and all of our bases should be covered pretty much. So I'm just going to be trying to rush primary expertise. When I say rush, I kind of got a little bit slow because I went for that whole Condor up first, and I had to sacrifice not sacrifice, merge. It would be kind of scary. I guess they do get sacrificed in a way. Like, where does the other dinosaur go when it gets turned into the other dinosaur? Does like one eat it and then it becomes strong or something? I guess maybe. So I guess it's sacrificed. Anyways, we'll get that. I'll get an embrittlement so we kind of can deal with Bloons and help Sada kill the Moabs, which is an interesting choice, and I think it worked out pretty well. We're also going to have that embrittlement in the late game, so why not just get it now? Doing some micro on the Spike Factory as usual, just kind of typical Dark Dungeons behavior, and then I'm going to be going eventually for a Arctic Knight in the middle. Arctic Knights are insane on Dark Dungeons. 2 of them in optimal locations for like the rest of the late game can solo the bad layer, which makes it way easier because those 2 Arctic Knights do an insane amount of work in like all other parts of the late game. So if you're doing like a challenge on Dark Dungeon Chimps, just having 2 Arctic Knights will make round 100 absolutely free, no first strike needed, and you have just an insane amount of damage. They're also great mid game, so like it literally just makes it so much easier. It's insane. With that, I'm gonna have way more cash that I can spend, and I definitely didn't need that many snowstorms that I end up getting in the late game, but as part of a spam, I was just spending all my money on it, so might as well have fun doing it. Now, when it comes to the snowstorm spam itself, we're gonna be doing it with primary expertise. So primary expertise will get that Mega Ballista, which does some damage here, which will be nice. On top of that, it will be reducing the cooldowns of all primary towers by 20%. And this is a pretty big deal, because if I were to have, like, say, essentially 5 snowstorms, I'd be getting another snowstorm ability for free for how much speed they're going to be coming back faster. And when we get a bunch of snowstorms, this is going to be going insane. They can reload super quickly, and you can just spam the hell out of the snowstorms. It's pretty nice and funny to do. So that's kind of why I included it here. So we can just like beat the DDTs literally by pressing snowstorm after snowstorm after snowstorm after snowstorm, and they're not moving. They're also going to make it so ceramics are literally not an issue, and for all of these I'm going to be getting 250 because I want them to deal with DDTs, and why would I need more power against slowing ceramics when I literally have just an insane quantity of snowstorms in the first place. I'm going to grab a Moab glue up there, probably wasn't even needed, so I guess we have that, and then we're going to be getting another Arctic Knight later anyways, and these guys are really going to deal the bulk of the damage. I guess Sada deals more damage kind of because she was there longer and it was going to be in the front of the map, but whenever a ZOMG is getting through there, coming to the top, we just use the ability and they go down, and then on 100, as I mentioned, they're going to be going down too. Another great thing here was that round 91 was really easy. Normally 91's a pain in the ass if you don't have Psy on, what is this, Dark Dungeons? How did I forget the name of it? That's kind of crazy, but with the primary expertise, it was able to shoot the Mega Ballista over, but it's slow and like can't get all of them. However, I was just able to press snowstorm after snowstorm and it worked. So yeah, that's kind of what we're going. Again, I really did not need this many snowstorms at all, but might as well because it's fun. So yeah, we're getting just now, as you can see on here on round 95, I use the Arctic Knight abilities, those kind of mess it up, but just a few snowstorms, those DDTs are stopped. And yeah, round 98 was also pretty chill. That's where you'll see more, I guess, like most of my snowstorm spamming going on. Here on 97, those ZOMGs aren't getting anywhere with all those snowstorms I'm using. And then round 98's coming up here. Condor's also dragging things over, which is nice. So we have Condor dragging everything to the middle lane. So all those BFBs get dragged over, and then we can spam snowstorms and they're gone. On round 99, I beat it just by literally spamming snowstorms because I needed my Arctic Knight abilities back. And then on 100, here we go. We just ripped the 2 Arctic Knight abilities, and that thing is done. Kind of crazy how Arctic Knight is just so strong on this map. Really bounces everywhere. Makes me want to do some U-Jug challenges on Dark Dungeons too, although that wouldn't be as good as Arctic Knight. Anyways, we're going to be going on to strategy 3, which is going to be a really big bomb spam and primary expertise. 302 bombs to be more specific. Now there are going to be a lot of primary expertises in this series, but this one's kind of special to me, and you might be wondering why 302 isn't that just garbage, and the answer is yes, but it's pretty funny. So a while ago, I had the idea, and this was like, I don't know, 3 years ago, something crazy like that. I wanted to try to see if I could convince everybody for like no reason on the BTD6 Reddit that 302 bomb spam was really OP, and I didn't really do a good job with that. Like, there wasn't much convincing, but I did do a gauntlet on every expert map on Chimps where I did it with 302 bomb spam, plus some of the harder advanced maps too. So we're going to be revisiting that at some point pretty soon, and maybe I kind of just blew my cover with trying to convince everybody that it's really good, but it was a really funny one to do. I remember the strategies, like kind of how I set it up from years ago, and I'm going to be kind of doing the same approach that I did a while ago, but just I guess a bit better, because I am a bit better at the game now. So the way that I did this on quad was really funny. In the early game, it doesn't really look like we have much 302 bombs because I need to actually survive the early game. So we get a few maulers. Those guys are going to be assassins later, and I need the assassins to break open round 100. Just a few of them is really all you need. And I'm also being pretty greedy with some of these glue gunners in the early game, and then we're going to be getting 2 clusters on each side to kind of deal with some balloons. Now I go for a Arctic Wind, and I'm going to get a primary mentoring in the middle. You'll see where this is going. I'm getting a primary expertise in the middle and covering the entire inner circle with 302 bombs. So we're going to be going for that, and then I'm going to reserve some spots for 2 Moab glues on each side. It kind of looks like we have a lot of the space filled in, but we'll do my best to fill in the rest, and then get 1 more Moab assassin. That's going to allow us to beat the mid game in round 100, and we're going to greet out with this a super early primary expertise. Well, in theory it's not super early, but based on all the limitations that I had and having to do this on quad, it is going to be pretty early. So just a small handful of bombs, is going to carry us all the way to primary expertise and beat some pretty tricky rounds. And I guess I'm also saving up fairly early, so it's not like we're going to be coming into the super extreme difficult rounds, but we're going to be pushing all the way past the 60s and into the early 70s. And once we get primary expertise, everything's just super easy. I'll be getting the other upgrades for free, and then I can just breeze through and start spamming bombs. The only other things that I would need to buy is upgrade those other guys to assassins, which I do pretty early. We're going to get another Arctic wind on the other side so that I can place bombs in kind of in that water, and also that will allow me to be able to take out kind of just stop balloons that are kind of leaking through, and then we're just going to spam. These guys are super cheap once I have it, so no issue. And on the effectiveness of this, it actually like isn't that bad, although just getting maulers or even cluster bombs if you want is significantly stronger option. So like just based on the power of Pex and Striker Jones, you can do a lot with this. I was able to breeze through the late game extremely easily, but other strategies are just better. And then yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. Perhaps really the reason why it was so easy in the late game was the ultra greedy mid game, and if you're kind of doing a more regular setup, you might be going into the late game with way less money and way less opportunity. But on the other hand, I was able to just like start getting up all these like bullshit 302 bombs immediately, and with enough of them, they'll do the damage, we'll take everything out. The only thing to note is that round 99 was pretty hard, only because I didn't really have like a Snowstorm, or I guess more options on taking out round 99. I guess it's the Moab Assassins. I didn't have a lot of Moab Assassin abilities that I could use on round 99. In a typical bomb strategy, you would probably pop a bunch of Moab Assassins for round 99 with that Sabo, and then they'd reset. But here I only had so many Moab Assassins, I couldn't really take out that many. On the other hand, the regular DDTs seem to be pretty easy. I just used both of my abilities on Sabo, take that out, and then the other rounds I kind of just spammed the concussive shell, and I was able to take out like round 98 fairly easy. There wasn't much of an issue. I was able to also save a ton of cash, so I ended up spending that, I guess, on more 302 bombs on the outside just for the overflow. But this definitely is a really funny strategy that you can do, and especially on this map, I find it so funny with the primary expertise in the middle of the water, and just like everything is completely covered up. And then I ended up saving, like at one point, at over like 40,000 cash spare. Well, I guess just about it, 39k right there. And then I needed to be able to beat round 99. I had to get the Snorm up and AMD it. Kind of tricky. Round 99 I guess was the only downfall, and then with 19k spare I had to get another assassin up for 100, but then I just spent the rest on 302 bombs, and I guess that's it. I got a pretty good amount of 302 bombs, and it was pretty fun, and I'm definitely excited to see what SJB will do here. And I'm also really excited to play the challenge that he gave me. So if you want to check that out, you can check out his part right here if it's out yet, and stay tuned for tomorrow.